I'll read a poem called Living Space. I lived for many years in Mumbai, and it's a city that looks as if it's held up with sticks and string and scaffolding. But to me, that began to look like an image of the whole world, a kind of tilting, fragile place. Living space. There are just not enough straight lines. That is the problem. Nothing is flat or parallel. Beams balance crookedly on supports thrust off the vertical. Nails clutch at open seams. The whole structure leans dangerously towards the miraculous. Into this rough frame, someone has squeezed a living space and even dared to place these eggs in a wire basket. Fragile curves of white hung out over the dark edge of a slanted universe, gathering the light into themselves, as if they were the bright, thin walls of faith.
Prayer. May things stay the way they are in the simplest place you know. May the shuttered windows keep the air as cool as bottled jasmine. May you never forget to listen to the crumpled whisper of sheets that mold themselves to your sleeping form. May your pillows always be silvered with cat down and the muted percussion of a lover's breath. May the murmur of the wall clock continue to decree that your providence run 10 minutes slow. May nothing be disturbed in the simplest place you know. For it is here, in the fetal hush, that blueprints dissolve and poems begin, and faith spreads like the hum of crickets. Faith in a time when maps shall fade, nostalgia cease, and the vigil end.
This next poem is about, it was written in the Pyrenees. I had a residency at a beautiful place in the Catalan Pyrenees, and the only other thing I really need to say about it is that I've been ill for many years. Flesh. Sitting in a doorway in October sunlight, eating peppers, onions, tomatoes, stale bread sodden with olive oil, and the air high and clean, and the red taste of tomatoes, and the sharp bite of onions, and the peppers' scarlet crunch. The body coming awake again, thinking, maybe there's more to life than sickness, than the body's craving for oblivion, than the hunger of the spirit to be gone. And maybe the body belongs in the world, maybe it knows a thing or two, maybe it's even possible to once more remember sweetness, absence of pain.
The Envoy. One day in that room, a small rat. 2 days later, a snake, who, seeing me enter, whipped the long stripe of his body under the bed, then curled like a docile house pet. I don't know how either came or left. Later, the flashlight found nothing. For a year I watched as something, terror, happiness, grief, entered and then left my body, not knowing how it came in, not knowing how it went out. It hung where words could not reach it. It slept where light could not go. Its scent was neither snake nor rat, neither sensualist nor ascetic. There are openings in our lives of which we know nothing. Through them, the belled herds travel at will, long-legged and thirsty, covered with foreign dust.
a poem which came from younger days of a deep wish for more solitude sometimes. I was curious in those days about how one could live without compulsion for certain sorts of sociability which felt awkward. And I guess we're all curious about that at different times in different ways. The art of disappearing. When they say, "Don't I know you?" say, "No." When they invite you to the party, remember what parties are like before answering. Someone telling you in a loud voice, they once wrote a poem. Greasy sausage balls on a paper plate. Then reply. If they say, "We should get together," say, "Why?" It's not that you don't love them anymore. You're trying to remember something too important to forget. Trees, the monastery bell at twilight. Tell them you have a new project. It will never be finished. When someone recognizes you in a grocery store, nod briefly and become a cabbage. When someone you haven't seen in 10 years appears at the door, don't start singing him all your new songs. You will never catch up. Walk around feeling like a leaf. Know you could tumble any second. Then decide what to do with your time.
A while ago, I went to the Alhambra in Granada to write some poems. And the reason I chose to go there was not just because it's a beautiful place, but because I was looking for an idea that once lived there. The Muslim kings who built the palaces centuries ago were people who were not afraid to open up their doors to ideas from every culture and every religion and every way of thought. They wanted the best of knowledge from all over the world. And I went back looking for the kind of self-confidence in a way to take back the territory from people who wish to narrow minds and close their doors. I also used in this series of poems the image of the pomegranate, which is also the symbol of Granada. One of these poems is called How to Cut a Pomegranate. Never, said my father, never cut a pomegranate through the heart. It will weep blood. Treat it delicately, with respect. Just slit the upper skin across 4 quarters. This is a magic fruit. So when you split it open, be prepared for the jewels of the world to tumble out, more precious than garnets, more lustrous than rubies, lit as if from inside. Each jewel contains a living seed. Separate one crystal, hold it up to catch the light. Inside is a whole universe. No common jewel can give you this. Afterwards, I tried to make necklaces of pomegranate seeds. The juice spurted out, bright crimson, and stained my fingers, then my mouth. I didn't mind. The juice tasted of gardens I'd never seen, voluptuous with myrtle, lemon, jasmine, and alive with parrots' wings. The pomegranate reminded me that somewhere I had another home.
Spår. På natten 2:00, månsken. Tåget har stannat mitt ute på slätten. Långt borta, ljuspunkter i en stad, flimrande kallt vid synranden. Som när en människa gått in i en dröm så djupt att hon aldrig ska minnas att hon var där när hon återvänder till sitt rum. Och som när någon gått in i en sjukdom så djupt att allt som var hans dagar blir några flimrande punkter, en svärm, kall och ringa vid synranden. Tåget står fullkomligt stilla. 2, starkt månsken, få stjärnor.